Hello, people of YouTube.
Hi.
I am American McGee.
I'm Martin.
And we are coming to you from Shanghai, China, where it's actually turning to spring outside.
Sunny Shanghai for once.
I noticed little nubbins of green goodness that are sprouting out on the tree limbs. Have you seen that?
I have not noticed the nubbins.
They're out there, and they're the harbingers of goodness, of shade under the Shanghai summer sunshine. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I am. It's been grey and miserable for the last week.
It has been.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Shanghai weather. We've got something very special for you today. Wait, what are we doing today?
Going to be doing the usual, a little bit of art review, talk about stuff.
Yeah,
Is there something else we're doing?
I think we're going to play Alice. We're gonna play the original Alice game. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of you have requested this multiple times. Big problem was we couldn't figure out where to download the game, and believe it or not, I don't have or haven't had a copy of this game for quite some time. So we had one of our patrons kindly enough supplied a mega link to the download, and
which we can't mention.
It is out there floating around. But anyway, he's in the chat. Maybe if you're nice enough to him, he'll share the link with you. But we can't do that because that just seems like a bad idea.
Because reasons.
Anyway, let's get into it.
Justin Macabre has super chatted already.
Woo! He can send money through mobile.
Yeah!
Seems like YouTube has added a new feature.
Good. More
Awesome.
beer money.
That's awesome. Thank you for the beer money.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. So on that topic, today's going to be a little bit different because I reckon we might have a lot of questions coming through as I play through Alice. So what would be nice is if you do have a question, you could throw it up in a super chat. That'll make it so I can take a break from talking about the development of or the story of the first Alice game and answer your question.
It'll also catch my eye as well because I'm going to be looking at like comments, patron comments and stuff on my phone as well too. So I'm going to be up and down and up and down.
Up and down.
Up and down.
All right, Martin. All right.
Fever Blade. Thank you. Yay for playing the original Alice.
Yeah, no problem.
Yay.
We're quite excited. It's going to be, I think, an interesting... Well, it's going to take us some time. I think multiple streams to get through this. But anyway,
Ouijamu Ravenquill. Ujimaru Ravenquill.
Good try, Martin.
Your games changed their life. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for the super chat. We're going to use that on. What are we going to use that on? Maybe we'll buy some dog treats for Lulu.
Treats.
Yeah. So before we get into the game, let us jump really quickly into our sponsors.
Stuff.
Over at Freaky Fandom. And this week, their podcast is actually on the topic of Alice, American McGee's Alice, the first Alice game. So
imagine that.
If you enjoy watching me play through the game, then afterwards you might head over to Freaky Fandoms and check them out. This week's podcast is on American McGee's Alice, and I'm sure they've got some pretty interesting tidbits and background to share on that topic. They are our largest single sponsor over on Patreon, and so we very much appreciate their support, and we do hope that you will go and support them in return.
Please do.
Another thing to mention before we jump into the game is that I am in fact working on the pre-production and planning for a new Alice game. It is now tentatively called Alice Asylum. This would be the third chapter, but it actually jumps back in time to when a young Alice is first admitted to the asylum after the death of her family in the house fire. There are a couple things you can do to help us.
Shout out to Daycarn.
Hey, Daycarn.
Thank you for the super chats.
He sent us a $2. Is that Australian? I don't know.
Anyway, thank you.
A $2.
Good luck. That's what they say.
So, Alice 3, you can help support that by going to my blog at AmericanMcGee.com. You will there find a list of 4 things that you can do in order to support the production of Alice Asylum. I would ask Martin to go through those things while he's drinking coffee. What are
Number
those
1,
things?
Mailing list. Please sign up. Real email addresses and people who are interested in Alice only, please.
Not like dead relatives.
No, creating a million Mailinator accounts and doing it doesn't help.
No, not helpful at all.
Thing 2, just follow the social media stuff we do. You're here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Follow us socially. And of course, patron would be great. Become a patron on Patreon.
There you go.
Always get those mixed up.
You do.
You know what I mean. Yeah, do that. You get access to art and stuff a few days earlier than everyone else. You get direct access to discussions. And we have some cool goals where you can get goodies, which we will be mentioning very shortly.
Well, I mean, the goals are all right, but it's actually the rewards that I think are cool.
The goodies.
No one cares about the goals. They just want the goodies.
I don't care you've got 1,000 followers. Just give me the embroidered patches.
Exactly. And then last but not least, I do run an online shop called Mysterious, mysterious.americanmedia.com, and you can go over there and grab all kinds of Alice-themed whatnot, books, games, art prints, t-shirts, wallets.
Everything.
Little bags full of Lulu's hair. So on the Patreon topic, we do post art and design and all kinds of other things that are related to the development and pre-production of Alice Asylum. If you are a patron, you do, as we said, get access to the rewards that are released whenever we set those up. The current rewards that we're working on sending out, this is the inmate certificate. We actually have the physical version.
We did them.
They
exist.
They got printed. So Martin and I sat around yesterday and signed all...
We do. Can we see this?
Like 600?
Signature?
That's not working.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I see.
And
I see.
Numbered. There you go.
That's a strange camera thing you're doing there, Martin. Anyway.
Who will get number 506?
That doesn't read as a 506 to me. It looks like SOG. SOG.
Who will get number SOG?
SOG. I don't know who's going to get SOG, but whoever gets SOG, congratulations.
It's been manhandled on YouTube.
Martin wrote the numbers and I signed them. Teamwork.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the certificate was one of the rewards that we put together recently. One of the other rewards, the one you can... Now, the certificates have passed.
Done.
But you don't have to miss out on these, the embroidered patches. Embroidered
patches.
Embroidered. Yeah. So, Shay Rosa says, FYI,
thank you.
In some regions, Alice Madness Returns disc for PS3 has the first Alice game on it. This stream will be lots of fun. Yay. Yay!
I heard that. Yeah, some people go, where can I get the first Alice? And other people chime in, it's on the disc.
Right.
Madness Returns.
So these are the embroidered patches. These are attached to Patreon. If you become a patron and you are at a $5 a month or higher level in the month where we hit our 1,000 patron goal, these will unlock and you can get these sent to you in the mail as physical little... Here's the Pirate Jam ones. Like this kind of thing. Yeah, like that. We've got a whole collection of them. There you go. They're going to come on like a cardboard backing and whatnot. So This is like a rubber one. It says try soda. I think that's just so Coca-Cola doesn't sue them. Anyway, these are going to get sent out. So if you like that kind of stuff, whatever.
Yes.
Patreon.
Currently on like 900 patrons. So there's a little while to go. So you can still jump in and join the embroidered patch hype train.
That's right. Okay, I think that we've got all of our preamble, commercial, whatnot out of the way, right?
Get it out of the way.
I think it's out of the way. I think
so.
Okay, so again, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to play Alice, and I'm going to talk about the making of Alice while I play Alice, and then Martin is going to read comments from Patreon, and if you have a question or a comment or otherwise just want to throw money at us in the super chat, there you go. Throw money at us in the super chat and we will answer your question or respond to your comment, or we'll just accept the money and spend it on Lulu treats.
Smile.
Now, when I switch over to this, I need you guys in the chat to tell us if our audio levels are correct or not, because I'm a little bit concerned that the music and the sound effects may be a bit overpowering, but you're going to have to tell us that. So here we go. New game. What do you think, Martin? Easy, medium, hard, nightmare?
Easy for you.
Easy. You knew it. So this intro video, I don't know if these guys can hear us. Alice, what year was it? It was 1998, 98-ish, 97 when we started work on Alice. And back in the day, this video at this kind of CGI resolution was actually something. It was quite impressive.
Right. It was a thing.
It was a thing. Well, and it wasn't just a thing. This felt like it was a very high-quality thing in comparison to a lot of the videos that were getting made that day. There were glass and reflection effects. There were liquid effects, things like this that you were seeing in higher budget, computer animation. But to have it in a PC game, especially one that was sort of lower budget and had a kind of indie feel to it, was unusual. Ooh, look at that realistic fire.
That's how it was back then, though, wasn't it? People used to look forwards to like the CG FMV intros to games.
Yeah, because
Square were pretty good at that.
And we couldn't do this in-game, so you had to have these things to kind of be a precursor to or a preamble to the actual in-game graphics. And of course, there were a lot of people who'd get in trouble for taking screenshots from these CGI animations and then posting them up as screenshots from the actual game.
Right.
Of course, these days that doesn't really happen much anymore because the games and the graphics, in the videos look almost identical anyway. But this was done by a guy named Zane Rutledge at a company called Little Beast. I think it was Little Beast. And they were based in San Francisco, and he was friends with R.J. Berg, who is the writer on the Alice series. And Zane and his team put these together under the direction of myself and RJ. We wrote all of the dialogue, all of the scripts for the videos, and all the in-game interactions and things like that.
Zane Rutledge.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that in the game you have a Rutledge Asylum, and there is an actual historical Rutledge Asylum in London, but it turns out that Zane's last name is also Rutledge, so go figure.
Shea Rosa, thank you. Will I play Nightmare next? I could. I'm awesome at games. It's not bragging, it's true.
I actually fired this up the other day to test it, and I put it on to Nightmare, and I just died immediately. I just forgot how nightmarish Nightmare was. So one of the things I was thinking about is that we're going to have to, of course, lead into this scene from whatever we leave off with in Alice Asylum. And playing through this, I think, is going to help us create some of that connection and generate some of those ideas.
I think so. Yeah. Miss Foxy Plier, your games inspired me to try to create her own fantasy story.
Wow, that's
Go for
awesome.
It. Is it awesome?
Well, thank you, Miss Foxy Plier, for your super chat, and we're glad that we could inspire you. Yeah, so the voice of the Cheshire Cat, that is Roger Jackson. I think many of you probably know that. And Alice is, of course, Susie Braun. In the years since we've made the Alice games, the first game and the second game, I've actually had a chance to spend time with Roger, become friends with him, and what's going on there? Is that just us where it's going white, or are they seeing it go white as well?
Don't know.
So in these cutscenes, the screen is going white.
How odd.
That was very strange.
Melanie Harris just became a Patron.
You really have trouble with
I
that.
do.
So it appears that whenever a in-game cinematic pops up where OBS is having mental problems,
the chat, they see the white.
that's not good.
I'm not afraid of her or her creatures. Never was, really.
Huh.
You should stand up to them.
You think there's a setting we can adjust to fix that?
I don't know. It should be capturing whatever we see.
Yeah, but it's not. Obviously.
Stay away from cutscenes, I guess.
Well, that's not really gonna... that's not really the way to go about this.
But this cutscene...
No, see how it's frozen? It's continuing to animate over here, but it doesn't animate over there.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I don't think we need to say sorry, guys. I think we need to fix the problem. It says it's a well-known issue with OBS, no clue how to fix it. We can see it, but obviously for them, they cannot see it. It's interesting.
It's like a graphics driver issue. Well, we don't want to be messing with that.
Yeah, but we also don't want to be playing the game with all the cutscenes being white screens like this.
Completely dejected. As bad as all that.
What do you think, Martin?
Well,
Let's try making the video resolution a little bit different.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a guess, but we never know. Okay, I'm gonna have to adjust this on the broadcast screen in a second. So just wait a second. Let's find another.
Kill!
Off with his head. Need to find another cutscene. You know, this section of the game. So this was a level that was designed by Richard Level Lord Gray, and
Is that his actual nickname?
well, yeah, he was called Level Lord.
Right.
And because he was a level designer of, well, I think he still is. Oh, that's not a sort of cutscene.
Yes.
We're gonna have to wait for another actual cutscene to see if we fix this or not.
Yes, Sailor RNG. We know that the screen is not quite right.
Yeah, so this didn't fix it.
Somebody. Oh, where is it? Change how you are capturing DirectX input.
Okay, we will do that.
Is that an OBS thing?
Sure. Give us a second while we do that.
Don't break anything.
I'm not gonna break anything. Sorry, guys. That's not the right one. I did actually test this the other day, but obviously I did not.
Didn't get to a cutscene.
I didn't get to a cutscene. So what do you think? Allow transparency, window match priority, crossfire capture mode slow. Capture third-party overlays such as Steam. I wonder if it's something weird like that. Okay, let's. Hey. Oh, back to game. No, back to game. Okay, let's see what happens now.
Did you change anything?
I did. I told it to capture third-party overlays.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if. I'm wondering if when those cutscenes pop up, they're not
Hanging ropes are as good
rendered
as
in the same scene
know how to use them.
as the game itself. So we're gonna find out.
Find out soon enough, I guess.
That's true.
Do you know, I've never actually seen the first Alice.
Well, you're seeing it
I
now.
know, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Ledge
So what was I
grabbing!
saying? Oh yeah, so this level was built by Richard Level Lord Gray, and I don't know that he built a lot of other levels in the game. It's still doing it. Any other suggestions from people there?
Even blurred vision is valued by the blind. If I were clever,
Let's try a
cower
restart,
in this
maybe.
slag heap. I'm not wise, girl. I've just grown old.
What's that?
Someone says try a restart, but I think that's just the generic IT fix of turn it off and on again.
Yeah.
Only that. Oh yes.
I assume they can still hear the audio though, and they can see the
You can see the text.
they can see the
I
text.
imagine.
Nerve and your health.
Yeah.
Mine are nearly gone. I've seen
The
too
person who said change the DirectX capture, do you know where we might do that?
In the card guard's compound, a particularly rough diamond holds a key.
Restart OBS. Who can't do that?
Pay the favor.
Yeah, they can see white screen, subtitles, and audio.
Yeah, that's really frustrating. I don't really know, other than changing something like the color depth, or I don't see why that would have any.
Texture depth.
It's got to be. Obviously, it's an OBS capture issue. What are they saying over there, Martin? Keep an eye on the chat, because I see things scrolling by.
Go to properties, go to compatibility, and turn it on, set to Windows XP.
Well, then that means you're basically yeah, I think the problem there is we have to restart the game.
Make higher resolution.
I already did that.
Restart won't work.
No, I don't think that that's gonna.
Take Alice out of full screen.
It's not in full
Wasn't.
screen. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to play, and you guys are gonna have to deal with white screens when there's in-game cinematics, because I don't know how to fix this right now.
Try and fix that next time.
Yeah, exactly. So where were we? Okay.
Level Lord.
Level Lord. So yeah, Level Lord was one of the guys working at Rogue Entertainment who built this level in particular. I don't know that he built levels other than this one, though this one I thought at the time, I fixed it. Aha! I enabled transparency, so it's better now. So at the time, this sort of level in this technology was quite a feat because it's very organic. But these guys that we had borrowed the third-party layer on top of the Quake engine from at Ritual Entertainment, which is where Level Lord came from, they had released something called Heavy Metal Fact 2 using the Quake engine as the base engine, and then they built this Fact 2 engine on top of it that enabled all sorts of in-game cinematics, all sorts of organic constructions and cameras and sound and music that really in the Quake engine by itself we didn't have, like the things here with the thing on a rail. We just didn't have as nice of systems to build this kind of cinematic experience as they had built into their engine. So we ended up licensing that technology from them, Rogue did, or EA did, in order to have that capability. And really at the period when this game was being made, the kind of the coolest use of the tech was Valve, and they were working on the first Half-Life game using the Quake engine.
Enable transparency. How do you do that in OBS?
I already did it.
It was part of the game capture options, the capturing of the game window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a little tick box.
It's done. We fixed it. Do we get any kind of like reward or praise for that? Because I know like when everything's go wrong, it's our fault. But then when we fix things, it doesn't seem to.
I'm sure they're feeling praise on the inside.
Right. Yeah. So the developer behind the game, Rogue, were actually in an office that was down the hallway from id, and I knew these guys from the years where I worked at id. We were all on the 6th floor. Id was in Suite 666. I don't think that Rogue had a particularly interesting suite number. It was like 625 or something. But the Rogue guys were on and off again working with the Quake technology to either develop their own games or to develop level packs for the id games. And I was quite good friends with a number of them. And so when it came time to make the Alice games, they were the first kind of team that I thought of working with because I understood them to be quite good at building really interesting content using the Quake technology. Die! Not really working there.
Didn't look like it.
No. Don't stand in the green slime. I don't think these guys were here last time we came through here, were they? Oh boy. Is this going to be my first death? What do you
Possibly.
think? It could happen. It could happen. We've already determined that I'm crap at my own games, so I don't think I'm going to feel bad about it if I die.
What is the thing you're firing?
What do you mean?
When you were shooting projectiles, what was it?
Cards!
Were they? Right.
Yeah, a deck of cards. Yeah, so the whole, like, Alice thing, I mean, this has come up a million times in interviews. Like, how did you come up with this idea, and how did you have the opportunity to work on this game? I went and got fired from id, and it wasn't really clear as to why I was fired from id, just that I was.
You have the key. Very
You've got the key. Come ride on my hot air balloon.
This is not misplaced. He is no fool.
I certainly hope he is not.
You know, it's not really clear who these guys are. Like, in the original Alice book, there wasn't... it's weird.
God damn.
That's really, really weird.
They've suffered.
I'm sure I'm very sorry for them, sir. Really, I am. But what
That's
about
too bad.
the
It was
smell?
working.
How bizarre.
Now it's working again.
Maybe there's some effect
Yeah,
within
it's
that
very
cutscene
strange.
that OBS doesn't enjoy.
Look, an insane child.
Whee!
I really love the insane children. They're great. Yeah, so
who are these gnomes?
Oh, that's a good question.
There's a school inside the fortress where you'll find certain items.
So this is your first time seeing this? Wow, you're gonna get beat up in the chat for that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Somebody, I forget who, already had a go at me.
Yeah, well, you deserve it.
Maybe I do.
You deserve it, Martin.
But like I say, it's good that we go through this with all the asylum stuff
This is true.
coming up.
Of seeing things, we should avoid the card guard's notice. Hang on. Damn it. We've been seen.
So yeah, I got fired from id and for reasons I still am really kind of unclear on. And I spent a little bit of time as a freelancer, and I ended up working with Michael Crichton on a project called Timeline. And then EA got interested in Timeline, and so I was the person who was responsible for kind of overseeing EA's role in, or the investment in, the Timeline project. And it was quite fun because I got to work a lot with Michael Crichton, and ultimately though I asked EA to kill this project because I could see that it wasn't going to turn out really good. And so they finally killed it on my recommendation, which lost me Michael Crichton as a friend. He wasn't very happy about that. But that then put me in a position where at EA they thought, oh, this guy doesn't mind killing stuff, which is not easy to find people who are willing to kill stuff. And so they said, right, we're going to make you into the guy that we send around to review projects that are maybe having trouble, and you can determine whether or not they should live or die. And so
Project Killer.
Yeah, well, it wasn't cool because like when I would arrive at people's studios, it was a pretty bad sign that something was not right in your world.
Did you like turn up in like a cowl?
No.
And like a scythe?
Yeah, like a black trench coat. No, but I mean, there were some pretty uncomfortable incidents while I was in that role. And at some point I went back to my boss at the time and said, look, I don't want to do this anymore. And so they then said, all right, would you like to make a game of your own? If so, come up with a concept and pitch it, and then we'll see whether or not we can make that happen.
Panic Enabled. Thank you for the super chat. Will we be doing a demo for Alice 3? Love you guys. It's a little early for that kind of talk, but I don't see why there wouldn't be.
Yeah, for sure there'll be a demo, but it's, you're probably looking at like more than a year or so away before that happens.
But yeah, it's not a thing that would be, we wouldn't want to do.
No, that's right. Rage Box!
Unless it was like the demo that Yakuza recently released.
I don't know about that.
It was the entire game.
Oh,
People
good.
got the entire game for free.
Oops,
for a few hours.
Not good. So this is sort of, in this game, this was the version of her where she is sort of in the hysteria mode, right? This is the Rage Box.
Right.
And it makes it so she gets kind of one-hit kills on everybody that she encounters. At the time, this level of violence of like blood squirting and heads being chopped off, even though they were card guards, was considered enough to be an M rating, and of course the game was M rated, and
wow.
EA were sort of unhappy about that. It was famously held up in a studio exec meeting by the then CEO of EA, Larry Probst, and he held it up and he said, EA will not be known for making this type of game. And Alice actually came out side by side with Clive Barker's Undying. So there were two M-rated games, but I believe Alice hit the shelves first, which earned it the distinction of being the first ever M-rated game that EA published. For fuck's sake, why did I do that?
Why did you do that?
But it's funny because if you look at the level of violence in the game now, it comes off as quite cartoony, and I doubt that this would get. It would struggle to get like a T rating probably. I don't think that it's really sufficient in violence to get an M these days.
Yeah.
But of course back then, things were different.
It was a more innocent time.
It was a more innocent time.
David Dixon sends $5. Again, not sure what $1 is.
I think it's those Aussie dollars.
It is a testament to you that this game is still so much fun to play, American, standing the test of time beautifully.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Does still look reasonably decent,
Well,
doesn't it? I was
yeah.
expecting worse.
Oh no, that was the thing, like when this game came out, if you went and tried to compare it to other games in the era, just on the basis of art and design of the environments and things like that, it really stood out, and it was really pushing sort of what people's expectations were of games in general at this time in history. Is there like there's a use button, and I've forgotten what it is. It's clearly not the space. What's the use button? Come on, where's use? Middle mouse button? No.
E?
I tried E. It didn't do anything. Maybe this is not usable yet. It's not Control. It's not Alt. Look at this. I can't figure out how to play my own damn game. It's not tab.
Maybe it's not needed yet.
I kind of feel like you want
Left shift.
Left shift. No.
Right shift.
Right shift.
No.
No. It's not shift.
Enter.
No, it's not enter. We're not doing it. All right. Well, that's it. The live stream's over. Oh, there it is. It was enter. Thank God for enter. Enter to enter. Yeah, so where was I? So my boss at the time, a guy named Rich Hilleman, he's famous for being sort of one of the originators of, or the first producers on, I can't remember exactly what the distinction is, but on the Madden football franchise. So he made his name for himself at EA as that guy. And he came and he said, hey, you don't want to be the guy who goes around killing game studios, then come up with a game idea and we'll consider whether or not we want to fund it. He was actually the one that hired me into EA in the first place, so he and I had a really good relationship, and he's a good guy. I think there's maybe something going on here about needing to pull another lever. It's hard to retell these stories and also focus on what to do in the game, so you guys feel free to yell at me as to what needs to be done next. Oh, right, this is one of the musical puzzles. You've got to, like, pull the levers in the correct order. Oh, boy.
Jack Scarecrow super chats. Will you have someone like Chris Brenner do the music for Alice 3? He's already expressed there would be interest, I believe.
This is correct.
Yeah. I mean, nothing official, but he's keen.
There you go.
There you go. Yes. Yay.
Yay.
I am going to...
And I was driving along Highway 1, and up popped this song by the... Uh-oh. What's going on? We're not receiving data. Up popped this song by the Crystal Method called Trip Like I Do. And in that song, there is a sample from the movie The Dark Crystal. And in the Dark Crystal sample, they say something like, a land of wonder.
This is going to scroll past Mrs. Betty Boop. Thank you. I was 14 when I played this game. I'm 31 now and makes their own manga. Recently became a patron. It is an honor to be a part of Alice.
Woohoo!
Thanks for the support.
Thank you so much.
It is the we genuinely do appreciate all the support. It's you guys that make everything happen. So yes, thank you very much.
Pretty sure I did those in the wrong order again, but I'm going to get it right this next time. Again, okay, so where were we in the story? Oh, right, so driving down Highway 1, and then the Crystal Method song, Trip Like I Do, came on, and then they say A Land of Wonder, and so the wonder thing kind of popped out in my head, and I think at that time I had been spending a lot of time in Los Angeles with Marilyn Manson, and he and I had been talking about, like, making a twisted version of the Bible. And we had been talking about alchemy, and we had been talking about Alice in Wonderland. And, is this right? Is this the right order? Yes. And so, when Wonder popped up in the context of that song, it triggered something in my head, and it all kind of came together. Like, I want to do a very dark version of Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to use, the alchemy. I'm going to use these dark... narrative, pieces, and so is that it? Is it happy now?
You can make that jump, can't you?
That doesn't look like a jump I can make, honestly. You're gonna make me make that jump? I feel scared.
Do it.
What if I go back through this door? I feel like that's not the way I want to go. Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, that wasn't. Why did that disappear?
I don't know.
What was that? That was it tricked me.
Who designed that rubbish?
I don't know.
Is it Level Lord?
Maybe. Yeah, so I went back and I said to Rich, I want to do a dark version of Alice in Wonderland. And I started working we had a couple of different artists. One was Norm, I always say his name wrong, but it's Norm Felche, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I know it sounds. So anyway, Norm was around and he was doing some art, and we had another guy named Terry Smith who was doing illustrations, and just a bunch of other artists that each of them, I sort of put together a brief that said, this is this Alice concept, and this is the basic outline for the story. And we started getting artists doing various, renditions of what the character might look like. And we probably had like 100 drawings. And they were everything from bubblegum anime, bubblegum pop style anime characters to just sort of sexy, big boobs, scantily clad Alices. There was quite a variety. And I was getting quite frustrated because we weren't getting anywhere near the art style that I wanted. And then one day, I think it was Norm who had done a really rough pencil sketch and faxed it. We were still using fax machines in those days. Oh, come on.
God damn it.
I pressed the space bar.
Yeah.
I did. There's a big delay. I blame OBS. Anyway, so Norm... Okay, that was just me. It doesn't seem to be penalizing us at all, though. So whatever. Anyway, so Norm turned in this really simple but perfectly right kind of gothic Alice pencil sketch. And when I saw it, I knew it. I was like, that's her. And then somehow, once that image was done, like Norm and Terry and all these other artists that we had kind of floating around, they started cranking out like a Mad Hatter that fit with that style, and a Queen, and just really great imagery started coming out, and we just started getting stacks and stacks and stacks of the caterpillar and the Cheshire Cat, and I don't know, it just somehow, once we had that one iconic image of Alice, all of the other pieces of the art puzzle just started to fall into place. And so I started putting that together with story stuff with RJ. So that was when they had introduced me to RJ and said, this is RJ. RJ at that point had been there for, 13 or 14 years at EA. He was famous at that time for having produced, for instance, he designed and wrote his own Sherlock Holmes game. So if you go and look up the EA Sherlock Holmes game from like the early 90s, that's RJ's creation. And Rich paired me up with RJ and said, look, this will be your writer, producer, whatever. And we didn't realize it at that time, but RJ and I still work together today. So 20 years later, I still work with RJ. And he and I have started a variety of companies together. He was the writer on the previous, obviously the last Alice game, Madness Returns. And so...
Yep. Let me jump in there. Cuba Toy, our translating chum. Thank you for the chat. Is Alice inspired by German expressionist film?
No.
Why would you ask that? Is there anything expressionist in that style? But you heard it here first. No. Daycan. Yes, it is Aussie dollars. Thank you for the super chat. There is a huge delay on the jump button.
Yes.
Good luck on the ice levels.
There is a huge delay on the jump
There are ice
button.
levels, are there?
Yeah, well.
Good job it's on easy then. But
yeah, well, dying doesn't seem to really be dying. It's all right.
Is there no such thing as lives? Infinite lives?
Well, I think I set it on easy, so it appears that I'm just... I don't know what's going on with this puzzle. Ooh. Is one of them correct, and then it moves around, or is there just
the
one
old cup and ball shuffle?
I imagine so, but it looks like it just always goes to the same spot. Yeah.
There's a question here on Patreon. Start out nice and easy. Have you considered the RPG Minx as a voice actress for Alice 3?
Well, I mean, I think if it's the person I'm thinking of, she's got a YouTube channel, and I've done some interviews with her in the past.
We did some stuff with RPG Minx for Out of the Woods. Didn't we? She seems lovely.
Yeah, but...
And, I think I may have seen some of her voice... Well, heard some of her voice work.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got... it's pretty good. But who knows?
Who
Again,
knows?
very early days. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the whole, I'm a voice actor, hire me thing, I find kind of annoying. Because there's just so many people out there who are wanting to be voice actors and who are sending demo reels, and I think by level of the amount that you get and that you don't want, at the top of the list is usually voice actors, and then that's followed by people who are musicians and they want to get into the sort of the music business, and then it's like artists and they'll share art and stuff like that. But it just seems that there's like kind of a real lot of people who are like, hey, I'm a voice actor, I want to be a voice actor, and we just don't, oh man, we just don't need that many, you know. We it's like, yeah.
David Dixon says dollary dues.
Dollary dues.
Dollary dues.
That's what we're being sent.
Yes, Australian dollary dues.
Nice.
Apparently.
That's great. We like dollary dues.
Dollary
Those
dues
go with your
also-
didgeridoo's.
They're also legal tender for wine and beer.
Oh, come on.
So. Here we go. Zelda XP. Thank you for the chat. AMA was released a year after I was born, and it was one of
Wow.
the first games I ever played.
Wow.
Its art
Climb.
and world inspired me to become
Climb.
a graphic author.
Wow.
Okay.
Why can't I come up this ledge? What's going on here? There's something
Don't know.
not letting me jump up the ledge.
I don't know. Maybe you don't go that way.
Well, I don't see how else I go. Why would you put a pile of rocks here if you didn't want me to go up that way?
You
Yeah, exactly.
know. But there you go. A game released a year after they were born. Still inspiring.
Wow.
So excellent stuff, Zelda XP.
Yes. Excellent stuff. Except
Is
the platform climbing in the game is not inspiring at all. It's inspiring me to frustration.
Is a graphic author like a graphic artist?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe you need to send a super chat to that person and ask them
I will.
to define what that is.
Cubatoy is back. Well, it's pretty close to... the German expressionism thing. It's pretty close to 20s expressionism. The cabinet of Dr. Calgary, for example. Consider
boy.
checking that up. Particularly architecture in Alice 1. So I guess the answer is there may be similarities, but it definitely wasn't in your mind at the time.
Not really, no.
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 There you go.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, you know,
Sorry.
it makes you feel better that you could say that, but no. What do you think here, Martin? It feels like I ought to be able to climb this, and yet it's not working.
And you can't get up from even that other side? Can you scooch
You
around?
cannot scooch around there, no.
If you go back down, is there anything else that we can see?
What do you mean?
Just look around you. Is there another way to go?
I don't know. I've already done that. I've done the whole
So you
running
came
around.
from that direction.
Nah, I mean, if I die here, then you spawn over here,
So what's
right?
that way?
Well, it's just some, like, health
You
packets.
jump onto that ledge?
I don't know. But there's no.
No. Oh, that's just terrible game design.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible game. I don't know what idiot came up with this. This is like that last game we played, that Madness Returns game. That was fucking awful.
Hole in the wall.
Yeah, no, I went out there already.
Oh.
It's there's just a tentacle out there, and no porn. You know, it's like, what's the point of a tentacle if you're not gonna have any porn?
To that side of the door, around the corner.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's where we gotta go. Ah, geez, Rick. I don't think this is the right way.
There's a bunch of stuff here.
No, that's just like health and stuff like that we don't need. This is where the whole thing began. Was out here in the
You
abyss.
can keep going.
Yeah. Oh boy. Ah, geez, Rick. Oh man, the delay on this this jump button is something else. No, I mean, I'm telling you, like, you can. It's
Oh.
magnificent. The delay.
Nothing there.
Nope. I could have told you
Try
that.
climbing that big pile of rocks inside.
Ah, geez, Rick. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, so Rick. Wait, not Rick. Rich. Rich Hilleman said. Oh well. What's it-
Cubatoy is fine with that answer.
Okay, good. So Rich Hilleman said, "Go and make the thing." And I made, we put the presentation together. It was me and RJ and a bunch of artists, and we put the whole thing together as a presentation. And then EA greenlit it, and I was surprised because I just didn't. I mean, this is the same question everyone gets: is, well, how do you become a game designer, and how do you submit a game idea and so forth and so on. And I mean, it doesn't happen very often. I think that the chance I got was a sort of 1 in a million, and I don't know how you would reproduce that if you wanted to.
You seem to be going the wrong way.
Okay.
Doorway across from school. Go David Dixon, super chats. Thank you. Go to the walkway around the top and jump in the window of the house.
Yeah, that's great. We understand that. But the problem is, how do you get to the walkway around the top?
Try not mounting the wall. Just jumping onto it. Don't mount the wall.
Don't mount the wall! I understand.
Can she jump that high?
Yes. There you go. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. That seems kind of silly to me. Like, wouldn't you just... If you could jump that, couldn't you climb it? Anyway, okay, we're learning. And you're learning that we're horrible at playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all good fun.
Well, until someone dies repeatedly.
Connor Carbon super chats $1. Maybe try to ask something, but you can't for $1. That's not us that set that limit.
No,
Sorry,
we didn't do that. I just make really terrible games. I don't set terrible rules on YouTube.
Joe Brock super chats $5. Thank you. Hey guys, as East Coast game dev, I wanted to ask your opinion on something that's scrolled past. Oh geez, can you click it back?
Oh man.
Let's pause it.
All right.
Yes, as East Coast game dev, I wanted to ask your opinion on the best places to develop games apart from California and Seattle, in your opinion.
That's a weird question.
Do you know anything on the East Coast?
No, I just mean, like, if you look at... Okay, let's start over again. You could develop a game anywhere in the world, and I think then the question just becomes, like, where do you want to live? What's the type of life that you like? And so, I could say from experience, and I can't speak to a lot of places in the world, but for instance, developing games in Hong Kong, which I've done. Hong Kong is a great city to live in. It's like really metropolitan and modern and cool, and it's all kinds of fun stuff. You can fly from like Hong Kong to Thailand in a few hours, and the problem with Hong Kong is that it's incredibly expensive, and it's really difficult to find developers there because they, like, all the artists get sucked out of the atmosphere by the ad agencies, and then all of the programmers get sucked out of the atmosphere by the banks. And so if you were to try to go to Hong Kong and make a development team, you're going to find that it's really a difficult place to do that.
Yeah. Asteria Visual. It's fun to watch you play and learn. Let them know if you need more games.
All right. I think that's who sent us the link.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the link to the original Alice game so we can play this. Look, it's more Insane Children. I love the Insane Children.
Can we unclick that next time it's relevant?
No need for sarcasm. I admit my memory's not what it was. I'm here now. Try to amend its deficiencies.
Very sinister.
The library contains a recipe.
They're really fun.
Consult the book of bizarre things. Oh no! Run!
Yeah, they're good. I like these characters a lot. What do you want me to do? You want me to click? Is it really? It's like end of the world type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfloof that.
So Connor Carbon comes back with $5. Thank you, Carbon, and says David Jaffe is on a break and thinking about what to do next. Would you consider working with him for Alice 3? Yeah, I like David a lot, and I actually spent a bit of time with him in LA when he was working on the original God of War. I would think about working with him on a new Alice game, though I don't know exactly how that would work because I'm probably still going to be out here in Asia, and as far as where the development team is, we don't know just yet. Could be anywhere in the world, but yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah.
Panic Enabled says we need to play more Madness Returns.
But we already...
That got finished.
Yeah, we finished that.
Completely finished that. So you can go back and watch those streams.
You can go back and watch those.
How many times American died.
I die a lot. I really do die a lot. So yeah, once the game got greenlit, then I started looking around for a developer, and that was when I actually looked at a couple of different developers, but I ended up with Rogue. I went and talked with them and explained to them what I wanted to make and how I wanted to make it and what the story was. And there were a couple of developers that had to come back with sort of budget proposals, schedule proposals, and things like that. And not only did I really want to work with Rogue, but they also came back with one of the better proposals.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciates the reply.
But, yeah, Rogue was based in Dallas, Texas, or in Mesquite, Texas, actually, to be more precise, and I was in San Francisco, and so the development of the game necessitated my traveling back and forth to Dallas to work with the team, but most of the interactions for quite a while were handled online. I would write story stuff, and Rogue would build the game, and then we would get review builds, and RJ and I would take a look at that, and we would write all kinds of comments back to them. And this process went on back and forth for nearly 2 years. It took about 2 years to develop this game, and I think that the development budget was about $3 million US, which at that time was decent. It wasn't massive, but it was a decent budget. And you know, by comparison, if you look at like Madness Returns, we spent $9 million on that, plus another probably $4 million on marketing.
Before you go too far away, get the croquet mallet. Everyone's shouting mallet.
All right.
And Jennifer's arrived.
Yay, Jennifer! I heard they were yelling croquet mallet when I was back in the theater. Is that where it was?
Don't know.
I also don't know. I feel like the croquet mallet yelling started in here, though.
Okay.
Do you see it? I see some insane children. I don't know.
Would it be all like glowy?
Why would you design a game where it's so easy to walk past one of the critical weapons? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Is it critical?
Well, I mean, it's
Is it
a
over
weapon.
there? Have a look that way. No.
It's a fireplace
fire.
button. I don't know. I mean, it does feel like...
It's up the stairs on the
there it
left
is.
side.
Yeah. Yep, I pressed... I did press jump.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, jeez.
Ah, jeez, Rick. Who designed the jumping in this game?
What?
Alright.
Fourth time lucky?
I'm telling you, it's really and it's like it's right on edge. Is that even a door that you can I don't think that's a door you can go through.
Use the wall. Can you?
Can you ledge climb along the wall?
Is it
Well-
is it like a wall jump?
Apparently.
What?
That didn't look really healthy.
That was great.
That looked really unhealthy.
Like a billy club, I tell you, whenever you want it to be.
That's one of his more famous lines. Okay, back into the library.
Missing Alice's flutter skill.
Yeah,
Her
I kind of like
quadruple jump,
her
or whatever
quadruple
the hell
jump
it
and
was.
her float are both things I like quite a lot. I love the sound effects that the little insane children make in this area.
An insane
It is.
sound.
It is an insane sound. Right. So at the same time that all this development stuff was going on, I got in touch with... Actually, I was still in touch with Marilyn Manson and was talking to him about producing the soundtrack for the game. And he did, in fact, produce several sample tracks that were really cool. I think I've described them in live chats or in live streams before, but they were kind of a combination of Marilyn Manson meets the Beatles when they were in their psychedelic, like sitar,
Right.
Indian music style mode. And there were no lyrics. There was nothing like, there wasn't him singing, so it was just purely soundtrack style music. But the tracks themselves were really gorgeous. They and the problem is, and I might still have them somewhere, but I'm obviously not allowed to release those. I would get in a lot of trouble if I were to release those. But I do wish that he would someday release them, because I think the world would like to hear them. I think they're really good musically, and Anyway, so there was a bit of work done with him, a number of tracks that were done. I was going to visit him in LA. At that time, he was dating Rose McGowan, and he had 2 little Boston Terriers, and that actually was one of the reasons why when I ended up getting Lulu, I knew that I liked Boston Terriers, was because Manson had these 2 Boston Terriers at his house there in LA. So when the deal for him to do the music fell through, I was still in touch with some of these other musicians, and Chris was one of them, and I talked to him and explained what had happened. Like, look, we got some tracks done, but Manson isn't going to be able to get the deal done. And so Chris did some sample tracks, and then he came on board and did the entire soundtrack. And so from a legal and sort of deal-making perspective, he made it much easier to get the work done. What have you got?
Someone said Charles Manson?
No, Marilyn Manson. I don't think Charles Manson ever dated Rose McGowan, but I could be wrong.
So who owns those Manson tracks now?
Well, he does.
So, I mean, theoretically, if you chatted to him, he could give you the thumbs up to put them out there.
I suppose.
That might make a good Patreon reward.
Oops. I just missed the elevator there. So Chris came around and started working on musical tracks, and one of the things that we talked about was using actual children's toys for the sampling of the instruments in the game. Is this going to move, or is this is it a trick? See, I feel like it's a trick.
Jump?
Oh, there it goes. And so when you listen to the soundtrack for this game, a lot of what you're hearing, like the little bells that are playing right now, are from actual little kids'
Little
bells and
xylophones
toys and xylophones and things like that. Yeah, exactly. And we did a couple of marketing type videos of me and Chris sat in a music studio and him messing around with children's toys, and me sort of sat there pointing at children's toys and talking to him, and it was all kind of bullshit. But anyway, that's marketing for you. Next, the Necronomicon.
Oh no. Are we doing prize time today?
But it won't open.
Oh yeah,
Stuck.
we should.
A few minutes, half 10.
Box or a stubborn lid.
We're past due.
Yeah, we could do 2.
All right. So you should tell them to load up in the chat if they want to win prizes.
Yeah, to be in with a chance to win. American is sporting Chaos Necklace.
No,
We'll do
that's an Omega.
Omegas today.
Fortunate I
Yeah, you have to have been active in the chat within the last 10 minutes. So say something, and then we'll do a draw in a minute or so.
There you go.
There you go. Just looking at the Patreon questions. I think we kind of answered this already. How did you go from building levels to getting your own game? We kind of talked about that at the beginning of the stream.
I mean, I think, and that story has been told a number of times, but, I started off, I was a car mechanic because I dropped out of high school. Not, of my own volition, but I was sort of forced to drop out of high school. And then I went and got a job at id because I was neighbors with John Carmack, and I just picked up and started doing level design and programming and a bunch of other things. And then, when id fired me, I was in a bit of free fall for a moment there. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I ended up getting involved with the Crichton Project, which led to getting hired by EA, which led to killing the Crichton Project, which led to EA saying, come up with a concept for a game, and maybe you can make it. And so, convoluted course, but eventually led to the creation of Alice.
And the last one here from Gregory Parabeck, our good chum. Again, we kind of also answered this in the stream. How did you land on Alice as source material? Was it as simple as everyone had heard of and it was in public domain? Well, you've done the old driving down the road story.
Yeah, well, and I also, I think it's important to point out that, I was spending a lot of time with Marilyn Manson, not Charles Manson, but Marilyn Manson in those days. And like I said, he and I had discussed Alice in Wonderland. We discussed sort of an illustrated graphic violent version of the Bible. We discussed a number of different things that we thought could be fun projects, and so I think he's owed some credit for being there at the time where we were having those kind of talks, and I was trying to figure out the kind of games I'd like to make and what would be good material for for a game, and specifically for games that told a story. Because I had come out of all these years at id where John Carmack was famously quoted once as saying that he thought that story in video games was about as useful as story in pornography. And so I had an itch, a desire to build games with story. And it was a thought that was on my mind when I would go and sit and talk with people like Manson about what games could do and what games could be. And so yeah, it all kind of came out of that.
Yeah. Shall we pause the game
and do a prize
and roll some lucky dice or whatever?
All right, I'm going to save the game too. Haha.
Good idea.
All right.
Whoa.
What are we doing here?
So it looked like some sort of funky DJs.
We do look like funky DJs. Where's our turntable and our microphone? Right.
There.
Okay, so we're going to do a prize.
Yes.
And you're going to give away...
that. Maybe not
Omega.
that exact one.
No.
But, yes.
Ooh, there's a lot of people hanging out there waiting for a prize. So the way this works is we're going to roll this, and the Nightbot is going to say who won. And if you won, you need to message PM via YouTube to my account here, what you're watching the video on. And you got to give us your name, address, phone number, email address, and you need to mention that you won an Omega necklace. Martin's going to write all that stuff, or write your name down
very loudly.
Exactly.
Apparently.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Chika-taku.
Chika-taku 3.
3 has won. And so you, congratulations, do the thing.
Do that.
PM, name, email address, phone number, physical mailing address. You'd be surprised how many people forget to give us their mailing address. It's hard to mail things to you when you don't give us a mailing address.
Yeah.
Are we going to do 2 in a row?
Yeah,
Catch
but
up?
Chika, say something so you know you've won.
Yes, Chika-taku, you won.
But yes, we need to do 2. So, ooh.
All right, here we go.
Roll it
3,
again.
2, 1.
And Angelicoma Nightingale.
There you go.
There you go.
We've got 2 sort of anime icon people in a row there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well. So
There you
same
go.
thing, Angela Coma. You need to do the thing. You gotta send us your email address, phone number, mailing address, and say, "Hey, I won." And you gotta PM all that to us here on YouTube.
Here we go. What the hell?
What the hell?
Cross-eyed, smiley, happy face emoticon.
Woohoo!
So yeah, there you go. Amazing stuff. Good luck
Amazing
for
stuff.
the next one, guys.
Amazing, amazing stuff.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Did you run out of questions?
Well, not yet, but the chat seems to have. We're not getting super chatted questions anymore.
That's true.
That's true.
What's going on?
So
Maybe they just don't
I
have any
still
questions.
checking Patreon, so let's have a look. There we go. Ice Killer, the last comment. What's Ice Killer got to say? Well, something about the certificate.
What about it?
Saying on the certificate, is the case note and physician left blank as we see in the image?
Yes.
Yes, so you can write in your own case notes and put yourself as a physician or your friend or whatever. It's blank. Do what you will with it. What was the thought process on coming... Oh, we kind of answered that again. What was the thought process on American McGee's Alice? The old driving down the road story. Did you ever imagine your Alice adaptation to be this popular? How did you feel when it became this popular?
Yeah, I don't think that I had any conception of how far it would go in terms of being... So I think one of the things that's always surprised me, but then in hindsight I guess shouldn't surprise me, is how it's been adopted by the cosplay community. Because you have people, literally all over the world, from the US and the UK to Japan and Korea and China and all points in between, who love to dress up as the characters from the game. And then you also see the adoption of it as something that people like to recreate in their own art. And so yeah, I don't think that as we were building it, I had any sense of that aspect. Hey, look, there's another one of the
Here's a riddle.
the croquet mallets, so I didn't have to grab the one previously, even though I was being yelled at about it.
Tell you.
They just didn't know.
Well, maybe they did. Maybe they don't play on easy where it's given to you twice. Yeah, so I don't think that we really knew exactly how it was going to be received. I think one of the things that's been interesting about it is just sort of the staying power. That even after the game, like say Madness Returns is now, 6 years? It's been 6 years since its release.
At least.
People are still out there cosplaying it. And I think that's one of the things that keeps it alive in people's minds. And that's, I think, unusual for a lot of games. That's not as common. But then, again, when you think about it in hindsight, you can kind of expect that, being that it's Alice in Wonderland first and foremost, that there would be a great cultural attachment that people have to it.
Panic enabled. Goodbye. Thanks for the chat. See you next stream. Maybe it's bedtime for Panic enabled.
I don't know. We were getting complaints from our European audience who were saying that we make them stay up at until 3 o'clock in the morning.
We tried a stream at a different time once, didn't we?
Yeah, we've done it a few times.
And it didn't really have that many views and people coming. So when we try to do it to hit the most people possible, maybe we could try a different time again.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's also a question of what we're doing. I think a lot of times when we try to measure the popularity of something, it's not like we're doing the same stream every time. There may be times where we're doing a stream where it's just not as popular, the thing that we're streaming. Yeah, so hard to say.
Going back to the cosplay chat you were just talking about, you think now we're sort of living in an age that, cosplay and all this is it's almost becoming more mainstream, I suppose. People are putting actual cosplay at the forefront of their minds when designing characters in games.
Well, for sure, when we did Madness Returns, that was something that was on my mind. I understood, the first game generated a lot of interest from this particular segment of the audience, and therefore when we make the sequel, we ought to consider how to sort of pay that off for that audience. And that's why she changes dresses in Madness Returns, is because we wanted to make it so you had a lot of different options for the cosplay. And of course, people seem to have really latched onto that. They really enjoy it. You see tons of really amazing costumes out there based on all the dresses that we gave her in that game.
Yeah. We posted one recently. Somebody has actually cosplayed the Ash dress. Yeah. Even though Alice 3 doesn't exist yet, somebody has cosplayed it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was really good as well.
Yeah, it's well done.
So, yeah. Feverblade, $5 super chat, thank you.
Woohoo!
Ooh. You've spoken of musical inspirations. Think of dipping toe into other styles, like death, black, gothic, metal, 80s, different moods for certain levels.
I reckon he's asking this question as it would relate to what? To the new game?
I guess.
Yeah, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't really come at it thinking about it from the beginning right now. I would imagine that we're gonna continue along the similar theme of music that we've done in the previous games. I don't imagine having a whole new metal style in the games.
Ashley Velez super chats. Use the secondary attack in Mallet. Throw balls, not cards.
Okay, throw balls. There you go. I threw a ball.
Are balls more powerful?
I don't know, but I've done the thing with what's been requested.
There you go, Ashley. We threw balls for you.
I did. Just immediately threw my balls for you. So yeah, I don't know. I think that the Alice games, one of the things I like about music in games is when it's sort of relaxing, and that it's atmospheric, and it's I'm not a big fan of really driving crazy music in games.
Right. Truth Decay super chats, $10 Canadian.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
You can buy a lot of moose for that.
The movie Sucker Punch and Madness Returns, I realised they were released around the same time, so one wasn't inspired by the other. I was struck by the similarity of themes.
Wait.
Have you seen it?
Oh boy. Spam.
Go away.
Go away, spam.
So, were you struck by the similarity of the themes in two things that were clearly not inspired by each other?
With Sucker Punch.
With Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of comes up. I think in Sucker Punch there was the idea that it was inside of a video game. Or at least it had a video gamey theme, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's difficult to avoid the... It's like people saying, oh, the Tim Burton Alice movie had a lot of similarities to your Alice game. It's like, yeah, well, they were both based on Alice in Wonderland. So there are going to be similarities, and it's tough to say which ones were inspired by and which ones are just a kind of a natural crossover that you would expect anytime, you know, you've got two products working with a similar kind of material, base material. There's a rage box. I don't know why I'd want that right now, but I'm...
Fine you look when dressed in rage. Your enemies are fortunate that your condition is...
Rawr! Monster mode!
You too. Red eye.
How scary she looks.
She's super
No
cool
wonder
in
it was
that.
M-rated.
Actually, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody cosplay her in that style. That would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see a lot of cosplay stuff coming in on the Alice Asylum Facebook page.
Yeah?
I haven't seen one of those.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
There was somebody's done an executioner.
Ooh.
That's coming up soon, or maybe even today. I don't know. It's
The Card Guard Executioner.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Huh. That's cool. I want
Yeah.
to see that.
So if you didn't know that, if you have cosplays to show off, go to the Alice Asylum Facebook page and send it along. If it's nice, we will showcase it.
I never cared for sports at school.
Try to have the background look decent.
Yeah, if you take a picture of cosplay and you're like stood in your kitchen or your bathroom, I don't really want to put that up on my Instagram. It doesn't fit with the overall theme.
Even if the cosplay is amazing, it kind of spoils it a bit if there's like a toilet and toiletries in the background.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I feel bad sometimes that you can't show these, but...
I don't feel bad about that. I think, you know,
It's
look,
because
if you
you're
went
a big meanie.
Well, if you went to all the trouble to create a beautiful cosplay, then just go stand in front of a decent background. Don't take a picture in your bathroom, stood next to the toilet. I don't think that's too much to ask, really. I think, yeah, there's just a final step there you want to take care of. That's all.
Okay. So yes, if you have it, send it along. We'd love to see.
We would. But not in your bathroom,
Not in your bathroom.
please.
Go and find a
what am I
tree
doing here?
outside. Stand next to the tree.
I'm not doing very well at this.
You throwing balls?
I'm just sucking terribly.
You're not throwing balls, you're sucking balls.
You said that, not me. I did not say that. It's not child viewer friendly, Martin.
Is it not?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Oh no, we're gonna get demonetized.
Everybody's getting demonetized these days. It seems you can't say anything. Ah, I fell to my death. That's actually a proper death that time.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had to reload. Go figure. Was that it?
LSD.
I'd run out of sort of free lives.
Maybe.
Well, that was dumb.
Right, let's have a look, see if there's more patron comments. That was it for
Yeah,
that
so-
particular post. I'll go to a different post and have a look.
So when we were developing this, as I mentioned before, the studio was in Texas, in Dallas, and Rogue had actually moved to a new office in order to accommodate becoming a larger team so that they could build this game. And one of the things was that the office in which they were located was like just this kind of standard... like one of your standard just low-rise building office complexes where you'd have like a dentist or a family lawyer or something that like along those lines. And
When is a croquet?
we had the police called on us at one point because we were in one of the rooms that had a glass wall that pointed out to the to sort of it was like in the interior complex of this office building. But it was a glass wall that kind of faced into the interior of the complex, and that room was being used for recording. And so one of the things we were doing were these screams that you're hearing the enemies doing, and so we had a person in there screaming repeatedly while being recorded. And one of the offices next door, I think it was like a lawyer's office or something, the receptionist heard these repeated screams and assumed that someone was being had been kidnapped and was being tortured. And so the police showed up, but they didn't just show up. They showed up like SWAT style, like angry.
Got swatted.
Yeah, they showed up like angry and looking for a fight. And anyway, explained to them that no one's being tortured, and we're just recording screams for a video game. And they were appeased and they went away. But,
it wasn't soundproofed.
Well, that's my whole point. It was a room with a glass wall facing to the interior. That was why. That's why I did the whole introduction to like the setup of the place. Yeah,
looking at my phone.
That's all right. No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a soundproof, sort of sound room. It was just a room in the office, and yeah, you could hear the screams from outside. Oh,
jeez.
Jeez. Oh,
double G's.
My headphones have fallen off as well.
If you die there, you have to go back to this level.
That's kind of weird. Is it just there that you do like a hard death? Because all of the deaths we've experienced prior to that have been fairly soft deaths.
Soft deaths.
And suddenly we're having these terrible hard deaths.
Saw some patron comments about the embroidered patches we're doing, and you asked the question, what other sort of Patreon goals would people enjoy? So we could ask the nice people out here. After we've done the embroidered patches, we've seen a lot of people mentioning enamel pins. Enamel pins and stickers. What do you guys think about that? Is this a popular thing? If there was enamel pins and stickers, would that convince you to become a patron on Patreon? Let us know. And in the meantime, Roain, I think Roain, super chats, thank you. Thank you, American and Martin, for sharing and keeping us updated. P.S. Ben Parham, say hi, buy treats for Lulu. So that $5 is from Ben Parham to say treats for Lulu.
Wow. Thank you, Ben Parham.
Lulu gets treated ridiculously well.
She does. She's got lots of people that give her a lot of love. And she knows it too. She's a very spoiled little dog.
She is.
She's living the high life.
Yes, everyone's going mental for pins and stickers and keychains. All of the above.
Yeah. Well,
I think we should. I think enamel pins should be the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
We will look into that.
We will.
I got to go off to Pirate Jam, and then when I come back from Pirate Jam, we can look into enamel pins.
Yeah.
Yay.
What's that noise? Lucas Severin, super chats, $5, thank you. I had Madness Returns. I paid $30 for it. My parents took it from me, saying it was a negative influence.
Oh no!
Truth is, it was my escape from their BS.
Wow.
TFTEA. TFTEA.
I don't know what that means. Too effing...
But there you go. Sorry about that. Did you get it back yet?
Now that you're an adult, was it returned to you? Get this
and
guy.
Does having American hear your plight kind of make up for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what was particularly negative about that.
About the Alice game.
Yeah. Wonder what they saw that freaked them out.
When I was in high school, I think I was probably 14 or something like that. My mom came into my room once and decided she was going to have like an intervention. And it was like she was worried that they were going to have to put me away or something. I can't remember.
What
And
was she intervening about?
because she had been snooping around in my room and she'd found written on a piece of paper something along the lines of a world without religion, a world without money, a world without hate, whatever, right? And somehow this made her think that like I was on the verge of committing suicide, and I had to say to her, "Look, lady who grew up in the '60s, that's John Lennon. those are the lyrics to Imagine." But she just thought like this kid's lost his mind. He's writing down really weird stuff about a world without this stuff, and she tried to take John Lennon's Imagine away from me, or have me stuck in the asylum for listening to John Lennon. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
She's not a Beatles fan?
Well, that's the thing. You would think that she would have got the reference.
You'd have thought.
You'd have thought. There's a nice Hatter statue. Man, look at how few polygons he's got to make up who he is.
You can count them.
Yeah, you can count them one by one.
Prince Hatter super chats. Thank you. I played this game when I was 6 and it did not give me nightmares. I was more afraid of the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese.
Woohoo!
You're a toughin'. A little tough guy.
Dude, the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese are scary. I always found that
Chuck
place.
E. Cheese.
Well, that place will give
Back
you
in
nightmares.
England.
That place will definitely give you nightmares.
I've seen, like, movies and stuff sort of, like, make jokes about how sort of haunting these animatronics look, especially in, like, run-down places now. So, yeah, I can imagine. Ice Killer, super chats, thank you. Oh, can we get an updated picture of you? The one on Wikipedia is like 14 years old. I am lagging so badly, I am 7 minutes behind now.
I never
Wow.
cared for sports at school.
I don't
I
control
do I?
the content on Wikipedia, and
Yes, there's, you want some stuff on there changed.
yeah, well, the bit about like my father trying to kill me, all of that came from a Wired interview from years ago, and it was unauthorized. I had gone and done an interview with this guy, and he said to me he wanted all the salacious bits of my history, and I had told him I wasn't comfortable with that stuff being on record. And so when the official interview was over, he said to me, "That's cool, let's go grab a drink. You seem like a cool guy. We'll catch up a bit." So we proceeded to drink quite a bit. I got drunk. I think he got drunk. And then he pressed me again for sort of, what are the real details of your life? How did you really end up making this kind of stuff? And so I finally opened up to him and said, look, life was like this and these things happened, but again, I don't want that being in the public record. And he said, sure, no problem. And then he ran off and printed it all in a Wired magazine article. So the fact that that's on Wikipedia, I mean, it's too late now. There's no, you're not going to erase the internet. And but the thing that kind of bothers me is I've written to the people who maintain the page and said, this isn't great. I don't, from a professional perspective, I'd not like that every time someone looks me up as a game designer, this is what they read. Would you mind toning it down a bit? It's not like I want them to, but I mean, there's a million things they could tell the world about me, right? Mm-hmm. And for some reason, they've decided that this is the thing that needs to be told. And so I think that the kind of the power of the editorial decision contained in the people who edit and maintain these Wikipedia pages is quite scary. I don't believe that the people who maintain my page on Wikipedia have what's sort of best for me as a creator or an individual in mind when they force these kinds of decisions. And I get the sense that there's an agenda at work there. So, yeah, I don't know. If you know people who change those pages, then...
Do it. Everybody, go change American's Wikipedia page.
I don't think you can. I think it's locked.
But it's still so weird that you, as American, cannot get your page changed.
Well, not really. I mean, if you think about it, like, from the perspective of them, they're supposed to be like the arbiters of non-biased or unbiased facts, right? But then again, I mean, they've been caught out multiple times being biased, and there are even these sort of like feminist sit-ins of Wikipedia editing where groups of people who have a very clear agenda about politics or the nature of the perception of the world are given the ability to sit down and to mass edit tons and tons of pages on a variety of topics, ranging from like biology, sociology, psychology, politics, and to edit with a distinct bias, and they're not stopped. And that kind of seems to indicate to a lot of people that, well, if you let a certain group who hold a certain ideology go in and make these kinds of edits, then you're choosing a side in the conversation. Anyway, I don't know how much that's relevant to my page. I just know that my attempts at having the page updated have always met with resistance. So there you go.
A quickie here to Garrett Scott. If you want a Patreon comment read, just post it on Patreon. All the comments that go underneath a post that American writes, he reads them. So yeah, just there, or even like PM on Patreon. It's that simple.
Yeah, but if he posts something there right now, you need to go over there, reload the page in order to see it.
Yes, it might not get read live.
Well, you might get read. But if he said to you, "I've just posted something, can you read it?" then you could do that.
Could do. Would
you?
Maybe I would.
Maybe you would. You're that kind of guy. Martin's that kind of nice guy that he might even do that.
Miss Foxy Plier is back with a super chat. Thank you for coming back. I work at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
And they may get rid of the robots. That's what a co-worker told me.
Yeah.
Told her.
I thought robots were replacing everybody, not being got rid of.
It's the one industry where robots will not replace people now.
That
Chuck
people
E.
are gonna. Well, I guess what happens is if your job at McDonald's is replaced by a robot that flips burgers, then you as a person could replace the robot's job at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Is there like a kind of a balance at work there?
Maybe.
No, I don't know.
It's like the balance in the Force.
Yeah.
Keeping the universe.
There you go.
I was about to say you're lucky.
Let's not talk about the Force.
Such a bad movie. Such a bad movie. Oh boy. Now that you've seen it, you have to agree. You fell asleep 3 times trying to watch
I
it.
didn't fall asleep. I just got bored.
Well, that's not
Took
a very
me 3
good...
attempts to watch The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And for like a sci-fi nerd like me, that's weird. That tells you how bad the movie is.
It was pretty bad. I told you it was bad. You didn't believe me.
I believe you now.
Yeah, well, you should have believed me from the beginning.
Nah.
Uncritically.
Just automatically
Trust everything
believe
that I say.
everything you say.
Exactly.
Ho hum.
Ho hum.
Yes, Greg says the movie was terrible.
It was terrible. What's this whole faster than light weaponization of ships? I mean, it destroys the entire reason for the creation of space fleets and Death Stars. Why don't you just instead of building a Death Star, just make a giant fleet of faster than light things and fly them into planets? I don't know. Anyway, terrible.
Yeah,
really terrible. A lot of times when we're doing this, I feel like I run in circles a lot because I'm talking and then I'm not really paying attention to where I'm supposed to be going.
Apparently, Lucas Severin says, "Thanks for the escape, American. He never got the game back."
Aww.
Wonder where it went. It's probably
That's
just in the
sad.
trash or something.
That's very sad.
It is. Aww. I don't know. There's just no words to comfort you, I'm afraid.
No, there really aren't. So I'm thinking we should give away some more prizes.
After we reply to Miss Foxy Plier again.
All right. Thank you, Miss Foxy Plier, for being so pliery.
They said a play pad would replace the robots, and she wanted to cry. Is that just like a little area, like a ball pit type thing for kids? A play pad? I imagine.
I don't know.
Yeah, robots, they're so 1980s.
Yeah.
Now.
Not good. Okay, so we're going to do another giveaway.
Should we give them a minute to say something?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do. You've got a minute in order to throw some crap into the chat there.
Or something good.
Something good.
Doesn't have to be
How
crap.
about, a nickname? Give Martin a nickname. I think that's a good thing to throw into the chat. If you have to give Martin a nickname, what would it be?
Not looking forwards to that.
And this is what we're going to be giving away. It's an Omega necklace.
Somebody asked if there are small versions of this.
No.
Which there are not.
There are not. But I am working on... I do want to do more necklaces, because we did this. This is the Chaos necklace, and this has been selling...
It does have a small version.
It does have a small version. There's the big one. There's
right
the
there.
small one. These turned out really cool. So we have this manufacturing partner that we can work with to do these now. I was thinking the next thing I'm going to do actually are these. These are alchemy keys.
Mart E, Big M,
Martin
Marty,
Snuggles.
Beanie Marty, Maurice, Martin Mystery, Spudcus,
Blort. Mr. White.
Mr. White.
Good. That's cool. Martini. That's what we call him. We call... So around here, Yen, my girlfriend or fiance, her nickname for Martin is Martina. And I think the implication there is that Martin is my other girlfriend. So
Walmarty, Martin McFly.
So anyway, we're doing
a lot
these...
of good ones.
There are some
and
good ones.
None of them seem to be too mean, so thank you.
That's all right. Martini's good. It's really good.
Zelda XP, thank you. It was their mum that bought them the game.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, Mom.
All right, so are we ready to give away a...
I think we're ready now.
We're ready now.
I'm going to take my hat off. It's getting warm in here. I'm going to blind people with
Okay.
my shaved head.
Here we go. We're going to 3, 2, 1, roll it, and...
Oh.
well, there you go.
Look at that.
Asteria Visual, who was the one who kindly provided the link to the game which we are now playing, American McGee's Alice. I didn't have a copy of it, and so he was kind enough to provide the link that we used to download illegally the game which we are now playing. And so there you go, you won. That would be what I think you call instant karma.
Yep.
Or-
Nightbot knows. It's sentient.
Semi-instant karma. Not super instant karma, but pretty good, almost instant karma. So.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, you know the drill. Send your deets. I think that's what the kids call
To
it
Marty
these
B.
days. Send your deets
To Marty B.
To Big M.
Margarita.
Don't send them to me. Send them to American. PM him.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's go back to playing our illegally downloaded game, because that's what the cool kids are
Not in
doing.
the public domain yet.
I don't think it really works like that with like games, though. The site where the link led to was some sort of kind of like old games repository site.
Okay.
So I think that their conceit would be, hey, this has been out for a really long time, and we're gonna putting it out there for historical reasons or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Owly Eagles super chats. Thank you. Who approved Alice to look like MJ?
What is MJ? Michael Jackson?
Alice 3 should be more level-based, XP, high-level weapons areas, simple content that would go a long way. Who approved Alice to look like MJ?
Michael Jackson.
Is there something we're not seeing here? MJ? Does she look like Michael Jackson?
I don't know.
Say...
I don't understand that comment, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll
Ow.
keep an eye out for Owly Eagles to clarify that.
Yeah.
And while we do, listing characters super chats. When you design weapons for the games, how much research, designs, and concepts aren't used? Any that you wish made it in? Her
So, the
boyfriend
ones-
got her into Alice.
So the weapons and designs that are not used, yeah, that's I guess that's an okay question. I don't remember us having a lot of weapon designs for this game that didn't get used. I remember that weapon tuning was a massive point of contention, and I think that when it came to Madness Returns, again, we didn't really have a big collection of weapons that like we wanted to have in the game, and we didn't use. The reason being that it's sort of understood, at least it was understood to me, that there are some generic weapon types. Like you want a generic melee weapon, aka a knife or a croquet mallet you can swing at someone's head, and then you want a sort of machine gun, and then you want a sort of shotgun, and so these things are the individual weapons that you want, and then you just come up with concepts that artistically or physically fit in with that idea. And as a result, it's not like we don't end up with like dozens of ideas for what might make a good shotgun or machine gun. Yeah.
Oh, apparently I misgendered listing characters. Many apologies.
Oops.
Sorry about that.
Did they have like an icon next to their name to indicate their preferred pronouns?
No.
Oh, well, that's not your fault then, Martin.
But I apologize anyway.
But,
Asteria Visual says, can they give their prize to Ina? I guess.
I thought Ina won one of those already.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's fine. If that's
if
what
you
you want
want
to do.
to.
Then you have to exchange your I don't know. You guys have to work that out. But if I get a message, I don't know. You guys figure that out.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but I don't know. We're gonna get in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a big kind of a fight at Rogue over the tuning, the balancing of the throwing cards, and the issue was that I wanted them to be quite machine gun like, and so I wanted them to fire quickly and do a lot of damage. And then we had a programmer on the team at the time whose name was Joe, who was a sort of self-styled like white dude ninja, in that he brought nunchucks and throwing stars and whatnot to the office, and so there was a kind of discomfort, like what's the word I'm looking for? Unease, as it related to him being there, because he kind of projected a "I'll ninja you in the face if you disagree with me" kind of vibe, and I'm running in circles. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I'm
Anyway,
doing many things at once here.
at one point, he went into the game right as we were ready to ship it, and he adjusted the values for the speed and the damage on the throwing cards, and this caused a bit of anger on my part, and concern and unhappiness on the part of a lot of the other people on the team, because he'd essentially gone round the committee, which said, hey, you know, this is the design, this is how we're building this game, and he said, no, F you, I'm Joe, I'm a ninja, and I'm going to decide for everyone else. And that wasn't cool. And so I think it came down to, like, I went into the code, or someone else went into the code and changed things back, and then he went into the code and changed things back again. And it was also the case where, like, I think he was one of the lead programmers, but he had some sort of access control that enabled him to say, well, if I don't push the button, then the game doesn't get built in terms of the technical building. And there was this kind of standoff, and we eventually had to have, I think, someone from EA call and say, if you don't desist, if you don't stop being a jerk about this, you're going to get sued. And so I think that made him finally back off of this. But it was pretty interesting how nearly violent this kind of back and forth on weapon tuning could get. So that was a major office drama as it related to weapons during the development of this game. Is anybody
Apparently, Owly Eagles did mean Michael Jackson.
Okay, that's a weird one. I've never been asked that before. But if you guys could please offer some advice as to where I'm supposed to go now, because it's really difficult to recall all these historical tidbits and at the same time also keep track of where I'm supposed to be going. So,
and I forget what's the name of the person that wanted a patron comment read out. Forget the name. Scroll past.
Know. But keep an eye on their assistants over there with where to go.
Okay, there is a new comment that appeared. I refreshed Patreon from somebody with the username Incease. Don't know if that is you.
Where are they saying I should go, Martin? Keep an eye on the chat. I'm lost.
Okay, I'll go back to that one then. Go back to second grade room. Second floor, straight on the corridor.
Alright, I'm going.
Go back through doors, find some shrooms and stuff.
I already did that.
Oh, there it was. It was Garrett Scott.
I thought I did this already, the finding the shrooms and stuff.
I don't know.
It's hard to keep track.
Got the shrooms and lollipop?
Oh, there you What?
Find the
I thought
gnome guy.
I was already here.
Potion?
The hell?
It's good for much else, though.
Oh, well. I still don't really get who this guy is. Like, he's just like a garden gnome. How did we end up with this garden gnome?
Who's this guy in my game?
No. You know, so here's the other thing I think a lot of people don't know is that during the time when this game was being made, I was living in San Francisco, and I was taking a lot of what I think is colloquially referred to as disco biscuits. We were going out a lot, and a lot of the dialogue, like when he says, in order to do that, you're going to need to get twisted, or you'll need to go sideways, was dialogue that we were writing kind of in a not so subtle reference to the drug culture that existed in San Francisco at that period in time. It was kind of borrowing from the language that we used in reference to these crazy nights out. And there were actually a lot of people in those days during the dot-com boom in San Francisco who were in the tech industry and who were all running around kind of engaging in the same nonsense. And a lot of that ended up being kind of infused into the vibe and the story, the language of this game. So, I don't know how much that kind of contributed to the connection that people felt with the spirit of the game, but I suspect that it probably had some impact on people's appreciation for the way the narrative and the dialogue and all these kinds of things were crafted. Might be why it says LSD when you go to the load, save, delete screen.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Prince Hatter super chats. Could you see Alice as a driver in Twisted Metal?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite games back in the day, actually, and that's a David Jaffe game. And I think that having her appear in that universe would actually make a lot of sense. I mean, you could imagine a Cheshire Cat, Twisted Metal car, would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I did find Garrett Scott's comment. It's a big one.
Ooh,
I'm not sure how we're going to do this.
Wow.
Maybe you could just promise to reply to this later after stream.
It's that big?
It's 3 paragraphs.
Oh my god, dude. We can't have 3 paragraph long questions.
Well, I'll see if I could skim it
What's
and
he saying?
extract some stuff. An interesting level concept to incorporate into the level would be the scene from around the beginning of Alice Through the Looking Glass, where she's walking through the garden attempting to reach her house, which is far off in the distance, but it doesn't seem to get any closer. I've been told it could fit into bargaining or depression. More likely depression, where she can't reach happiness.
Okay.
Is that... You remember that scene? Is she walking towards something that never gets closer?
In the books. And this is, the famous quote from, I think it's the Red Queen, who says that, in this place, you have to run just to stand still. And so, this is a fairly well-known quote and concept from the books that made it into modern day culture. And having something like that in the games could be quite cool.
Okay. Running just to stand still.
Yeah.
See that in Star Trek a lot, when they're trying to stop from falling into a black hole. And they have to stay at maximum warp just to not fall.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anyway, there's a couple more paragraphs in there.
That was not all of his comment?
Oh no, that was the first paragraph.
Oh, wow, okay.
Some research he did into an ancient Roman festival. Something to do with the garden there. And Alice has read Henry Walter Bates' Voyage Through the Amazon. It would be cool to use Batesian mimicry, where a non-toxic animal mimics the appearance of a toxic animal to avoid being eaten. Yeah, it's a big comment.
Okay.
Go and read it later. Maybe reply to that.
Well, but it sounds to me like it's a series of suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that we're dealing with suggestions, especially as they relate to the design or the story of the new game, is that we read them. We don't always read them in full or reply to them in full, but we read them and then they get stuck in the back of my brain, and obviously they are recorded there on Patreon. And then my sense is what we need to do is, and we've talked about this, we actually set it up. We have a Wikipedia or a wiki page.
Yeah.
Look, Alice is doing drugs.
Oh no.
Oh no. So yeah, we have a wiki that we set up, and we just forgot to give that out to the public.
It's a weird wiki.
But
really
we
struggled with it.
We need to get that out to the public so they can start putting all these comments and suggestions in there in some sort of order.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
We'll do that.
So from a thematic standpoint, this level, the sort of shrunk down in the garden There's a massive centipede with like a German. Ooh, you can't do that anymore. You can't be like a Nazi centipede. You go to jail like Count Dracula.
Is there an actual Nazi centipede in the game?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So I liked the general concept of this area in the game. But one of the things about this is that the kind of organic level design leads to there being some sections in here which are incredibly difficult to navigate because of the way that the collision detection and the model clipping misbehaves. And so it's there's some stuff in here that's quite famous for people, writing and saying, I bought your game, but I can't get past this section. So now what we're going to see is me struggling to get past. That's not him. He's not a Nazi.
It's not him.
No.
He's just a dapper-looking ant.
Yes, he's a dapper ant, exactly. You got it, Martin. A dapper ant. Uh-oh, there's a rock gonna fall on... Oh, the rock fell on my head, and I died in a big puddle of blood.
Ugh.
Ah, geez, Rick.
Mmm.
So we've got about 14 minutes left before we run up on the 2-hour mark, and at the 2-hour mark we're going to call it, because I have a lunch I've got to go to related to Pirate Jam. And so if you have any final questions, comments, or otherwise, you probably want to get those out there before too long.
Yeah, so while we're sort of nearing the end, we could just do another final little plea for stuff like we do. Please do the 4 things that would really help Alice Asylum get made. That's over on AmericanMcGee.com. Mailing list sign up. Follow us socially, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Become a patron on Patreon. Got it right that time.
You did.
Yeah, so you can gain access to art and stuff and goodies and whatnot. And just check out the Mysterious store if you want to buy t-shirts, wallets, necklaces, art prints, whatever. There's a lot of stuff on there.
There's a lot of stuff on there.
Those 4 things would help us out greatly for getting Alice Asylum off the ground. So, yeah.
That is true. Also, if you are... Uh-oh, is that going to bounce over here? Oh, man. And it's just like an instant death. If you are... What was the thing? Oh, you're watching these live streams and you're going to want to watch the next one, where I continue to die and be frustrated by my own game. Note that this weekend I fly to Thailand and I'm gone until the 15th of April in order to go out and run and do Pirate Jam. Pirate Jam will be broadcast on YouTube, and I'll be making Facebook and Twitter and whatever other kind of updates. There will be some videos that are edited together while we are out there. For those of you that don't know, Pirate Jam is where I'm taking 30 game developers from around the world to Thailand for 10 days aboard 6 boats. We're going to sail around the Krabi and Lanta region of the Andaman Sea, and we're going to make games, we're going to make videos, and we're going to have a piratey good time. So, jump... Huh?
Yeah, stuff was scrolling. Joe Brox asks if you had any thoughts on Death Grip, or Death Grips, the band.
No idea.
Never heard of them?
No. Have you?
No. Would they be appropriate for Alice music? And Truth Decay asks, have you decided on the April Patreon art print? We have. It's... Well, we just call it Cover 2. But it's... how to describe? It's the one where Alice is front and center, and it's kind of Wonderland behind her. And it's sort of like a burnt... silhouette around her with the burning house. How would you describe it?
I don't know. It's just funny you're trying to like paint a picture. I've died. Why don't we show it to them? Since I've died again.
Maybe.
Huh?
Are we leaving it there for today, the game?
Yeah, I died.
Okay.
I think we can call it a little short, and we can do one more prize giveaway, and then they'll get a prize. We'll show them this bit of art that's going to be next month's Patreon
for the
reward.
People who get charged at the beginning of April.
So if you want that piece of art, you probably want to sign up to be a patron.
At the right level.
At the right level.
The art giving levels.
Yeah. Maybe it's better to just go look over on Patreon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably easier to find.
Website, Omega Necklace, no. Let's go to look at a goals and rewards. Okay, so it's somewhere here among the posts.
Not on this one.
No. Oh, it was in those posts there. We've done a lot of art.
Yeah.
Is it in this post? This one? There. Okay.
That's it.
That's the image.
That's the one.
So that's going to be the patron reward for people at the art tier, and that is in the month or this month. So you want to be at that tier this month. Why is it all blacked out? It's weird.
Give me prime laughter super chats. Thank you very much. Thanks for the live streams at Faith Lance, and I always enjoy them. We appreciate you and everything you do for us. Love the games. The Faith Lance thing confuses me, but
sorry. I'm also
thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. All right, so let's do one more necklace, and then we're gonna call it. I'm gonna run off to this this lunch.
Okay. Jimaru Ravenquill super chats again.
Yeah.
Anxious for the new game. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
We are also anxious for that.
Mr. or Mrs. Ravenquill or Birdie Ravenquill. I don't know. Somebody says, "What's the Twitter handle I should follow?" American McGee. It's all American McGee. It's Facebook/American McGee. It's Twitter/American McGee. It's Patreon/American McGee. It's all strangely.
Is it
consistent.
YouTube/American McGee?
American McGee official.
Oh.
All right. Thought you were gonna catch me there, didn't you?
Well, is it still Obnard?
It is also that, but that's /user/Obnard.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so one more giveaway for a Omega necklace. Truth Decay.
Truth Decay.
All right, Truth Decay.
Been around in the chat.
Congratulations, Truth Decay. You need to send us your email address, your phone number, your mailing address, and say, hey, I won this thing, and please send it to me. Do that via a YouTube PM.
So that.
And Martin is going to write that down very loudly.
Decay.
So I think that's about it for today.
Omega.
Really appreciate all of you out there joining us as we play through American McGee's Alice. I will be back with some YouTube videos from Pirate Jam over the next couple of weeks, but then we'll be back here to do live streams and continue playing through Alice after April 15th. So
mid-April-y.
Yeah, between now and then you can expect Patreon updates, which include art and design discussions and all that kind of fun stuff. We'll also have updates on the mailing of the certificates, like the inmate certificates that we got finished printing and signing yesterday, and we'll have updates on progress with the production of the embroidered patches, and we'll probably announce some new rewards. We're getting pretty close to 1,000 patrons, and so once we've hit that goal, we're going to need to set a new goal. If you become a patron, you can help to suggest what those rewards could be for the next goals. So don't miss out.
Don't miss out. Yeah, we jumped up a few patrons during the stream.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, from Shanghai,
yes,
we wish you a pleasant... What is today? Thursday? Wednesday? Thursday?
Thursday for us.
And I think Easter's coming, so happy Easter. And we will
get lots of chocolate eggs.
We will see you again around the intertubes.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Where's the button? There's the button.